You're standing in the pharmacy again, holding a serum you've never tried, reading the back of the packaging like it might finally say something different from all the others. It won't. You already know that somewhere beneath the clinical language and the before and after promise, this bottle is probably a lot like the last one, and the one before that. Your skincare routine is the most expensive it's ever been. You have a shelf now, an actual dedicated shelf, with products arranged in the order they're supposed to go on, in the order you read about online, in the order that made sense when you bought each one. Your skin looks roughly the same as it always has, maybe a little more reactive actually, from all the active ingredients competing with each other for the same small patch of face. You put the serum back, you pick it up again. You stand there for a moment longer than feels reasonable for a Tuesday evening, trying to decide if this one will be different. Here's the question almost no one asks in that aisle. What if the products were never really the answer, and the thing that actually drives skin health has been happening, or not happening, in completely different rooms of the house? There's a quiet pattern in Japanese daily life that has almost nothing to do with skincare routines, and almost everything to do with why skin health tends to look different when daily habits are built around it rather than around products applied to it. It's not a secret ingredient. It's not a proprietary formula. It's not even primarily about what goes on the face at all. In many Japanese households, the habits most associated with long-term skin health happen in the kitchen, in the bath, in the evening wind down, in the relationship with sun exposure, long before anyone reaches for a bottle of anything. And it starts with the habit almost no skincare brand will ever mention, because there's nothing to sell you in it. Chapter 1. The bathroom shelf is the last place to look. The Western skincare industry is built on a surface-level premise that skin condition is primarily a surface-level problem, requiring surface-level solutions. More products, more active ingredients, more steps targeting more specific concerns. The routine expands with each new problem identified, and the shelf grows accordingly. This isn't entirely wrong. Some topical ingredients genuinely do what they claim, but the framework itself, skin as a surface to be fixed from the outside, tends to skip the more fundamental question: why is the surface behaving the way it is in the first place? In many traditional Japanese wellness frameworks, skin condition is understood as downstream of internal habits, specifically sleep quality, stress levels, hydration, diet, and sun exposure. These aren't alternative medicine claims. They're fairly well supported by dermatological research. Chronic sleep deprivation visibly affects skin barrier function. High-stress cortisol levels contribute to inflammation and breakouts. Dehydration affects skin elasticity. None of these respond particularly well to a new serum. The practical implication of this reframe is quietly significant. Before adding anything to a skincare routine, the more useful question is which upstream habit is producing the downstream condition you're trying to fix. A breakout treated with a spot treatment, when the actual driver is poor sleep, will keep returning, not because the spot treatment doesn't work, but because it's addressing a symptom rather than the cause. The simple thing to try today: before buying the next product, identify the one daily habit, sleep, hydration, stress, sun protection, that is most inconsistent in your current life. That habit is likely doing more to your skin than anything on your shelf already is. The next chapter is about the one Japanese daily practice that appears in nearly every conversation about this topic, and it has almost nothing to do with washing your face. Chapter 2. The bath that isn't about cleaning. Ofuro, the Japanese evening bath ritual, is one of the most consistently cited habits in any discussion of Japanese wellness, and it's almost always misunderstood by people who encounter it for the first time. The ofuro isn't primarily about hygiene. You shower first, before getting in. The bath itself is a long, warm soak, typically around 40 degrees Celsius, typically for 15 to 20 minutes, whose primary function is nervous system regulation, not cleanliness. The warmth dilates blood vessels, improves circulation, and most relevantly for skin health, signals the body's parasympathetic nervous system to begin the wind-down process that eventually produces quality sleep. This matters for skin because the skin's repair and regeneration cycle is primarily nocturnal. The hours between roughly 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. are when cell turnover, collagen synthesis, and barrier repair are most active, but only if sleep quality is sufficient, and only if the body has had adequate time to wind down before sleep begins. A nervous system still running at high alert at 11 p.m. produces shallower, less restorative sleep, which produces less effective overnight skin repair, regardless of what was applied to the face before bed. The Ofuro isn't a skincare product. It's a nervous system tool that improves the quality of the hours during which the skin actually does most of its own work. The takeaway: if a nightly bath isn't practical, even 15 minutes of warm water exposure, a foot bath, a warm shower held slightly longer, activates some of the same parasympathetic response. The specific vessel matters less than the warmth, the duration, and the absence of screens during it. What happens at the dinner table might matter just as much as what happens in the bathroom. Chapter 3. Eating for skin you don't have to fix. Hara Hachi Bu. Eating to roughly 80% fullness is most often discussed in the context of weight and longevity, and both connections are real, but its relationship to skin health is less commonly talked about and equally practical. Consistent overeating drives a low-grade inflammatory response in the body. Inflammation, at the systemic level, manifests in the skin as redness, sensitivity, breakouts, and accelerated collagen breakdown, the same conditions that generate most of the specific concerns people bring to a skincare routine. Eating to 80% fullness, consistently, reduces the inflammatory load on the body over time in a way that no topical anti-inflammatory ingredient can fully replicate from the outside. Beyond quantity, traditional Japanese diets tend to be high in fermented foods, miso, natto, pickled vegetables, which support gut microbiome health. The gut-skin connection is one of the more robustly supported areas of recent dermatological research. A healthier, more diverse gut microbiome is consistently associated with reduced skin inflammation and improved barrier function. Again, not magic, not alternative medicine, just upstream habit affecting downstream condition. This isn't a diet prescription. It's a single observation. The foods that produce good gut health and low systemic inflammation tend to produce visibly calmer, more resilient skin over time, in a way that operates independently of, and often outperforms, topical interventions. The takeaway: more fermented foods, slightly smaller portions, consistently. Not a new skincare step, an existing mealtime habit, slightly adjusted. Before the most counterintuitive chapter, the one that most Western skincare advice actively contradicts, let me tell you about something that costs almost nothing but may be doing more damage than everything else combined. Chapter 4. The sun habit nobody wants to have. UV exposure is the single most consistently documented driver of premature skin aging, more than stress, more than diet, more than sleep deprivation, more than any ingredient deficiency a serum is designed to address. This is not a contested finding. It's one of the most replicated results in all of dermatology. In Japan, daily sun protection is embedded as a cultural habit rather than treated as a special occasion product. Sunscreen is applied every morning regardless of whether it's sunny, regardless of whether you're planning to be outside, in the same casual, automatic way that brushing teeth is. Not because of a specific concern, but because daily UV protection is simply understood as maintenance. In many Western skincare cultures, sunscreen is treated as a beach product, something used for notable sun exposure, not for a Tuesday commute or a walk to the coffee shop. But cumulative incidental UV exposure, the small amounts accumulated on the way to work, near windows, during brief outdoor moments, adds up significantly over years and decades, producing the visible aging effects that most skincare routines are then attempting to reverse with serums and retinoids. Daily SPF 30 to 50, applied every morning, prevents the damage before it starts. No topical product currently available can fully reverse UV damage once it's accumulated. Prevention is, functionally, the highest performing skincare ingredient available, and it's one of the cheapest. The takeaway: daily sunscreen, every morning, regardless of weather or plans. Not a skincare upgrade, a habit reclassification from special occasion to daily maintenance on the level of teeth brushing. This next one is the one that surprised me the most, because it has nothing to do with skin directly. Chapter 5. The face stress leaves behind. Chronic stress produces cortisol. Chronic cortisol elevation drives systemic inflammation, disrupts sleep, impairs gut function, and degrades collagen. 4 of the 5 upstream drivers of skin condition we've now covered. all produced by a single cause. This means stress management isn't just a mental health practice. It's, functionally, one of the most powerful skincare interventions available, more consistent in its effects on skin condition than most topical ingredients, and operating at a level those ingredients can't reach. Japanese daily life embeds several stress regulation practices that aren't framed as stress management. They're framed as ordinary daily rhythm. The Ofuro is one. The intentional empty space we covered in the attention video, is another. The practice of gamen, quiet, dignified endurance that doesn't amplify stress through rumination, is a third. None of these are presented as wellness rituals. They're simply the shape of an ordinary day, built around rhythms that keep cortisol from chronically spiking. The Western tendency to treat stress management as a separate, scheduled activity, a meditation app at 7 a.m., a yoga class on Thursdays, means it competes with everything else in an already full schedule and frequently loses. Embedding small de-escalation moments into existing daily rhythms, the bath, the meal, the commute, removes that competition. The takeaway: identify one moment in your existing daily rhythm, not a new addition, just an existing one, and protect it from screens, tasks, and input for 5 to 10 minutes. Not a mindfulness practice, just a daily pause already in place, slightly guarded. There's one more piece, and it's the one that reframes everything else. Chapter 6. Less routine, more rhythm. Here's the quiet truth underneath everything in this video. A shorter, simpler skincare routine, cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen, combined with the upstream daily habits covered here, will, for most people, produce better long-term skin health than an elaborate, expensive multi-step routine built on top of habits that undermine it. This isn't anti-skincare. Some topical ingredients genuinely work. Retinoids have strong evidence. Vitamin C has reasonable evidence. SPF is non-negotiable. But the framework matters. Products applied on top of poor sleep, high stress, and inconsistent sun protection are working against a current, not with one. The Japanese approach isn't to find better products. It's to build better rhythms, daily, seasonal, habitual, so that the skin's own repair mechanisms have the conditions they need to work properly, and the products that are used can actually do what they're designed to do, rather than constantly compensating for upstream habits that keep undoing them. This reframes the whole shelf. It's not that the products are bad, it's that they were never the foundation. They were always meant to work on top of a foundation that most modern skincare marketing quietly assumes is already in place. The takeaway, and maybe the most important one: before adding anything new to your routine, spend 2 weeks improving the one upstream habit most likely to be driving your primary skin concern. Sleep, if the concern is dullness and uneven texture. Hydration and sun protection, if the concern is fine lines and premature aging. Diet and stress, if the concern is reactivity and breakouts. Then assess what the routine actually needs, if anything, from there. You're standing in the same pharmacy, a different Tuesday, and this time you put the serum back without picking it up again. Not because nothing works. Because you've spent the last 2 weeks going to bed 40 minutes earlier, taking a 15-minute warm bath in the evenings, wearing sunscreen every morning regardless of the weather, and your skin looks, quietly, noticeably calmer, not transformed, just calmer. The way things get when you stop fighting them and start giving them what they actually need. The shelf is still there. It's just a little shorter now, and every product on it has earned its place rather than hoping for its turn. Skin health was never really about the routine. It was about the rhythm the routine was meant to sit inside, and once the rhythm is right, the routine almost takes care of itself. If this felt like something your bathroom shelf needed to hear, there's more waiting for you here.